We're ready to go. Have a good time, guys.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sports Sit-Down. This is our first show of 2018 and fourth show overall. Since we've last seen you, a new Super Bowl champion has been crowned, and the Villanova Wildcats have won the March Madness tournament. As usual, I'm Sunay Sanghani, your host for today. And today we have the original crew back from the first show. We have Kieran, Nate, and CJ. So, guys, let's start off with the National Championship and the Final Four, talking about that. But early on in March, we saw some very big upsets. Arizona losing first, UMBC beating Virginia. So, guys, let's talk about it. Final Four, which was the biggest? Let's talk about the Final Four first. What happened, Dan?
Well, I'll start us off. Just to sum it up, Villanova beat Michigan 79-62 in the championship. And might I refresh memories? Nova, Michigan, Kansas, and Loyola Chicago won the Final Four. Only two one seeds were in it, and along the way, on that tough, long journey, there are some upsets over there.
Yeah. So CJ, what was the biggest surprise?
I don't know. It's like there's a couple. I mean, you have to say Buffalo beating Zona. But in my opinion, UMBC, because Loyola Chicago ends up getting to the Final Four. They were in the same side of the bracket as Virginia. Now, however, if Virginia had played Loyola, I don't think Loyola is going to be beating Virginia.
That's a good perspective.
Yeah,
that's
because
really
it's like you take that out of the picture, and it's like they've got a somewhat a free shot. I mean, they only had to face Kentucky.
Kieran, what do you have?
I have Buffalo beating DeAndre Ayton. People are saying he'll be the #1 pick, and Arizona. Buffalo hit 12 threes, and they absolutely routed Arizona, winning by more than 20. No one saw that coming, and maybe that hurt DeAndre Ayton's draft pick just a little bit, getting out in the first round of a big tournament.
Yeah, but my surprise team, it's pretty obvious. Loyola Chicago, the 11th seed making it to the Final Four last time that happened, VCU in 2011. And although you could say they had an easy path, they were always the underdogs. And but unfortunately, they were stopped by the 7-foot beast, Mo Wagner. I love this dude. In my opinion, listen to this. Michigan should have gave the ball way down low to him more often because he was the tallest player in the court at all times.
True that. So, I mean, I do agree with you guys, but to your point on Virginia, I really saw that UMBC. I didn't pick it in my bracket because I was scared, I'll say that. But when you think about Virginia, they only scored 59.4 points per game. This league, basketball now has become all about the offense. So that's why I was kind of like doubting Virginia, like, can they really do it? Also, one second. I think teamwork was also a big thing. Villanova, Michigan, both of them were really good collective teams. Like you say, Mo Wagner, he was such a good teammate. Like in the interviews, he was so humble. Like it was crazy to watch. Brunson, like I remember one time he fell down in one of the games. Every teammate on the court went up to go and get him up. Like that's just teamwork. So I think we saw a lot of teamwork, and it was a great March Madness.
But to add to what you said about Virginia, though, if you actually look, they actually were a team. They actually finally started getting under their coach, the new defense that they had. And they all locked in that. Apparently, according to a Sports Illustrated article I read earlier, they actually said the team they first came in, they were like, okay, we're a little unsure. But then once they started seeing the results, everyone got on board the same ship. So as a team, I think Virginia, the offense might not have been there, but their defense certainly was something that was just wasn't there against UMBC.
True that. Okay, so let's move on to some football now. It's been the offseason for a while, guys. The Rams have made series of moves. We've seen a lot of players come in and out. 2 cornerbacks, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters. They just traded for Brandon Cooks, a speedy receiver, after losing Sammy Watkins. And then they signed Ndamukong Suh, arguably one of the most dominant defensive linemen ever to play football. He's just really violent and scary. So, guys, my question to you is, how good did the Rams get? Are they legit? Kieran, let's start with you.
I think they are. I think they're going to win the division over the 49ers. And you're a 3 seed one year, and then you pick up 4 great players, you have to improve. I mean, maybe there'll be a rough start trying to get the team to gel again under a young head coach, but I think they can go deeper into the playoffs definitely than last year.
Might I talk about the head coach, Sean McVay, first-time coach in the NFL, won Coach of the Year. I mean, like, he is a serious. I like this guy. They also have best defensive player and offensive player in the NFC, and that's not opinion. They won those awards, and now that Goff, I really like Goff. Honestly, I'm a Stanford fan, but the Cal alum is looking great. Adding Brandon Cooks, a speedy wide receiver, as you said, it's going to help them. Although losing a big end zone target in Sammy Watkins, I think they're going to do well. And adding those two cornerbacks, Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, it's going to be a great year for the city of LA for football.
Well, I don't know. I'm in the wait and see, but I mean, so you do sign Ndamukong Suh, but the guy's gotten suspended for more than one instance for on the field stuff. When they get Brandon Cooks, they also picked up a 4th-round pick from the Pats. But they gave away a 1st and a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
Now I'm just looking at that. In this year, it's a pretty decent draft class overall. I don't know if that actually might come back to hurt them. So I'm going to just wait and see because it's football. You can never tell just from one offseason.
I agree. I don't think they got that much better because we have to look at the Pats and we have to look at what they're trying to do as a dynasty. It's repeated success over and over and over again.
But people are saying they might have shot themselves in the foot.
Okay, but still, for the past 10 years, who's coming out on top?
I will grant
the
you
Patriots,
that.
right? They have
give you...
capital of picks. They have so many improved players coming in and out. And I think that's what you have to look at. Sure, can they get to the Super Bowl this year? 100%. I think they can win it. It may be between them and the Vikings, whoever gets there first. But I think that when you look at the Rams, they've screwed up their future somehow with these signings. And also, Aaron Donald's getting underpaid right now. Ndamukong Suh is going to ask for that money. Brandon Cooks has 2 more years left on his deal. He's going to want money.
Cap space can hurt you a lot.
Yes.
Especially in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's my point.
Yeah, I would love. Actually, I want to talk about one game in particular about this LA Rams team, and I remind you in the 2016-2017 season or whatever, they went 4-12. Now they won 11-5 last year and destroyed what was the king of the NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, 42-7. Great game. They're looking good, and I really think they can be a serious playoff threat if they played how they did last year with better weapons.
Okay, so we'll see where the NFL will end up. Season's still 2 to 3, no, a long time left.
We got summer.
Yeah, okay.
Draft.
That's what I thought. Okay, so it's time to talk about the association now. NBA playoffs are, what, 2 weeks away? Or no, next week.
Next
Next
Yeah.
week we're going to have the NBA playoffs starting, so let's do a little prediction for you. We have Kieran on the board talking for East and West seeds for the playoffs. Okay.
Start with the 5.
You want to start with me the 5? Okay. We got Indiana with perhaps the coach of the year, Nate McMillan. He's looking good. And they've adapted to life without PG-free. And they're a team that looks pretty scary.
Oladipo is
Oladipo is a
really
beast,
strong piece.
6 in the East, you got LeBron James' old team. After a 2-hour long TV thing, Miami Heat. They're getting old. I don't like most of their players. That's just me. But they are still a solid 6.
Well, Miami
Strong
is-
rookie in Bam Adebayo, too.
But true,
yeah.
but they have some good players,
They have
man.
some really good young players. At 7, we have Milwaukee. We all know Fear the Deer, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis.
That's enough said about Giannis. I
Yeah, we're
think-
done. Okay, we're
Yeah.
done with that.
So,
But, like,
okay,
great surrounding cast as well. What's his name? The shooting god.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon. No, the other
Chris
guy.
Middleton.
Chris Middleton. Yes, thank you.
And Eric Bledsoe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They
Bledsoe,
look
man.
scary. They look scary.
I honestly, we might have to circle that one because I think
That's going to be a big
for Boston, they
Without
got-
Kyrie Irving,
Yeah.
it's going to be a
it's
good
going to be a
playoff
tough
series.
matchup. That could be a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to 8.
8, I got the Wizards. John Wall, Bradley Beal. They look bad in the cap space, but they look good on the court, and it's gonna be fun to see them play against Toronto. A strong 8 seed.
Yeah.
A strong 8
Strong
seed.
8 seed, dude. It's going to be the 905 versus the district.
Yeah,
Man. It's going to be
905.
it's going to be a fun
And
one.
Bradley Beal has improved playing without John
Oh, yes.
Wall. That really helped
All right,
them.
now moving on to the West, and this is probably going to be the subject of a lot of
Pretty
debate.
crazy.
Controversial.
It's starting to get crazy towards the bottom. Can you
True
agree with
that.
me, Sunay?
I do agree with you, but I think, 2 teams, right? We have 2 teams.
We
the
got
Wolves
2.
and the
Yeah, we got
Nuggets.
2. But still, it's like it's a fight.
And when you look at, the Nuggets, if you look at the All-Stars, where
true.
are they? I mean,
I don't see any.
that's
Where they go? Where they go?
exactly. I mean,
They get lost. They
the
get lost.
Nuggets
They get lost.
remind me of the
digging.
2015 Atlanta Hawks, where they had the Atlanta Hawks had All-Stars, but they were like kind of role players the year
They
before.
do have
Yeah.
It's the same
Nikola
thing.
Jokic is a
Okay, but he's not an
Very-
All-Star yet.
he is
Okay.
not
All right,
not yet.
Who we got for the 5 though?
Yeah.
Just in the last man?
Spurs. I
The
think that's.
I think the best team of the new century.
Yeah.
They've been Popovich, Tim Duncan was good, and now
But
we got
Kawhi's out. But Kawhi's out.
So that's gonna be a worry against a strong Utah Jazz.
Let's go for 6.
6. Let's go.
New Orleans Pelicans.
New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah.
New Orleans
The
Pelicans.
They may only have one player, and
Yeah.
And
boy,
he's a
Drew
really,
Holiday,
really
CJ's
good
boy
one.
G, Drew
Yeah.
Holiday.
Don't bring that up.
Rajon Rondo.
Rajon Rondo,
Oh,
but
yeah.
they look good. That's gonna be a good matchup against Portland.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
All right.
7, we got Oklahoma. I mean, Oklahoma, they've had a bit of a rough streak. I mean, they're having to play the Rockets, especially towards the end, and that's not helping.
And this series
But
will be without Curry.
But
so
they are facing the Warriors. Warriors are going to be down Curry,
But the Warriors
But-
just beat the Thunder.
so that's definitely signs of improvement.
they're playing-
they split the season series.
They split
though.
the season.
So that's
Okay,
fine.
that's true.
And Oklahoma City beat them twice full strength.
Yep.
Okay, so that does it for our brackets. We still have that 8th spot empty because we need to
It's
see.
gonna be big with
Yeah.
Minnesota and Denver playing on the last
Final
night
day
of the
of the
year.
season,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Final
I'm
day.
excited for that.
It's the late
I'm
game.
excited.
Everyone's gonna be watching it, and the winner will play number 1 Houston here. So I'll go Denver or Minnesota. We don't know who's gonna win that one, but it's gonna be a fun race
Oh yes.
to finish off the NBA season.
So tune in and watch the NBA playoffs. I know I am gonna.
Oh yeah.
Or at least a race. So now let's talk about the awards because that's what also happens at the end of the year. So I think for MVP we have
James Harden.
James Harden.
James Harden.
It's like, can we
Yeah.
can't talk enough about him.
The stats don't lie. 30.6 points per game, 8.7 assists, 5.4 rebounds, 1.8 steal. Dude's a beast.
Get rid of the steals. The steals don't
Yeah.
matter too much.
All right, so now let's go for the Rookie of the Year. I have Ben Simmons.
I agree.
Put on a show
The Prince,
against
as
the
they call
Cavs.
him.
What do you have, CJ?
I got Donovan Mitchell out of the Jazz. I mean, 20.4 points, 3.6 assists, 3.7 rebound. He's just doing well this year. I mean, Ben Simmons isn't nothing. I mean, the Lakers have a guy that's doing well
Kyle
too.
Kuzma,
Yeah,
he-
Kuzma, but
Kuzma.
I just
like
think
him.
Donovan, and especially when the Utah's a 4 seed and the Lakers aren't even in.
Yeah.
So you guys first take that in consideration. He's just doing a good job overall. I mean,
And as a rookie, I agree with you, CJ. And he's leading that team.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
stepped up and been a leader on that
Yeah,
Jazz
especially
team.
with like Golden Hayward leaving. It's
Yeah. He's really stepped up into
be
a
back
bigger
soon.
role
Golden
on
Hayward
that
be back
squad.
soon.
Okay, so Ben Simmons, Donovan
Yeah.
Mitchell,
Mitchell.
between those
Yep.
two.
Yeah.
All right, Coach of the Year, I have Terry
Blank.
Stotts
Oh, okay. Terry Stotts.
from Portland.
All right.
They're up to 3. He's getting the most out of
Yeah,
Damian
true,
Lillard
true.
and CJ McCollum. I'm telling you, if they would have gone Carmelo Anthony this summer, this is just an if. I think they would have been way better. Okay,
I
Nate,
mean,
who do you
Let's
attitude, I think it
go.
was-
The coach of the 905, Dwayne Casey. Might I remind you, he led a team who was a free seed at best, according to most people, this summer. Team full of veterans.
I'd like to remind you that I did not predict that. I predicted them to be number 1.
You
Oh,
did.
That a boy.
You did.
That a boy.
Good for you. But now they're the best team in the East. I mean,
Can't complain.
you can't complain if you're living in Toronto when you got Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, a dark horse MVP candidate.
Oh yes.
It's going to be a fun team to watch going throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, it's keeping up with the thing with the Jazz, man. Who expected Utah, by the way, to even be in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I
Did
agree with
anyone
you.
do that?
No.
Quinn Snyder, you have hair exactly like him. The same hairline. You just leading the Jazz to a 4 seed, and they get the home court advantage. Now, getting out of the first round, that's something to think about. But hey, it's still going to be great for state of Utah. They don't have a lot of opportunities to be on the major sports thing. They got the Jazz and
Nobody.
what, college.
The Utes.
Yeah,
BYU
in
and
college, that's
BYU,
it. Yeah, it's like
BYU.
not a lot.
And the Utes.
I got Brett Brown. He's coaching a inexperienced, very young team, and they are right now a 4 seed had a
A free
huge.
seed.
3 now. They moved
Oh,
up.
and
the
they moved up.
Philadelphia
They're now
76ers
3 seed.
Trailblazers.
Huge win against Cleveland, won by 2. And that could be a second round or no, could be a third
conference
could be a
final.
conference final series. That was it. They played a great game yesterday. Now without Embiid, so he's gonna have to work a bit harder. But
Yeah.
I think he has a good shot at Coach of
Yeah.
the Year.
Okay, it's time for our 3 things segment. The NBA will be very interesting these last few weeks. But now, as we move on to our 3 things segment, we have 3 things that I'll say. 2 of them are, to me, very interesting, and you guys will pick one. So first thing is that Steve Kerr calling the Warriors' effort embarrassing against the Pacers. He said that caring was their problem. Kevin Durant, in response, responded, say that I thought we did care. So those 2 are going at it a little bit. Then Kyrie got injured, so we wonder how that'll affect the playoffs. Third thing is that Conor McGregor
Is being
in
Conor
trouble.
McGregor?
Yep.
Yep.
So, okay, Nate, what is your talk
We're
about
not talking about baseball. We're not talking about football. We're not talking about basketball. We are talking about MMA. I'm really excited for this, but it's not for a good reason. You know, Conor McGregor just destroying the tour bus, destroying like the security guard, and pretty much he's just being Conor McGregor, as CJ said, and this is really an embarrassment for the UFC.
Especially with Dana White.
Yeah, Dana White.
man,
I think he called it like the worst thing to happen in UFC history. And it was,
It's pretty bad.
yeah.
Well, for me, I'm just talking about Kyrie. I mean, so officially it's an infection from the screw spinner that he had after his 2015 surgery, and Boston's going to be hurting without him. They're going to have to be relying on Marcus Smart, Shane Larkin, and Jaylen Brown to replace him. And
Jason Tatum, don't forget about
and Jason Tatum, but he's a shooting guard. I'm talking just straight point guard.
Oh,
Because they got him
point guard,
starting.
Yeah.
I'm talking about point guard.
Yeah.
I don't know if those guys are going to be able to, boost the team up to where Kyrie was.
Yeah.
True. Kieran.
For what Steve Kerr said, that team's really they're struggling. This is probably one of their worst patches since the Curry Thompson era. And hearing your coach say that about you, like they've already lost Curry, like that knocks down a bit of a morale in that locker room, knowing the coach thinks you don't care. I mean, I feel like I agree with Kevin Durant. I'd also be a little mad if the coach is telling me I don't care. I mean, he works hard, but all he's doing is sitting on the sideline.
You think like the only coach who'd say something about a team would be Pop, because Pop's savage in the post-conference.
True.
Okay, so I think that Kyrie's injury clearly means that LeBron's going back, unless the Sixers can stop him. I don't think Toronto can, and I don't think any other team on that list can.
But could you just be pro Cleveland though? Could you just not care that Toronto's a 1 seed, or that the fact that the process could actually win?
I don't think Cleveland really cares right now. I mean, LeBron is really dominant. He's not slowing down. The team around him is coming off very good. Jetty Osman is really good shooting guards. I think Kyrie injury is very, very scary for all the other Eastern teams because they had some hope, but I think now it's completely gone. Okay, so let's talk about more of the NBA. The Houston Rockets have jumped out to a great lead. They're going to be first in the West, and are they legit? That's up to you guys. CJ.
I don't know. NBA MVP, the number 1 seed, scoring 112 points per game, limiting the opponents to 104. And I think at one point they had 13 or 14 straight games where they were scoring more than 10 threes, which was stopped, by the way, by San Antonio. I don't know. If that's not a legit, I think we're done.
Yeah. Is a team that's 64-15 to you legit? That is my question.
I'm
I think
arguing
it
against
is.
that.
I think it is.
I don't think it is. I mean, I think they're a very good team, but by the time the Rockets would play the Warriors, I think a full-strength Warriors can still beat that team. Chris Paul has the most playoff experience, deep into the playoff experience. Harden's never been very deep into the playoffs, like conference champions.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
They've gotten to the round before,
So,
but not to the finals.
That's why my theory is that if James Harden shows up, the Rockets will show up because James Harden is this team. Like the team will go as far as Clint Capella. Like as much as I respect him.
Eric Gordon, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Trevor
and
Ariza,
that team,
barrel piece.
let me tell you something. That team,
Piece.
I think
Heart.
it could be. Do you guys think that they're a better three-point shooting team than the Warriors?
No. They're the best shooting team in
They're-
history.
They're,
Yeah.
Like like this season, I think.
yeah, I
definitely
think this
Houston's
season. I
better.
mean, Trevor
This
Ariza,
season, it's pretty close.
Ryan
If you
Anderson.
had a full, healthy
Warriors,
Warriors,
Quinn
no.
Capella.
then I think the Warriors are better. But an injured Warriors, I think Houston's going to
Yeah.
be better.
Well, like,
Yeah,
what I want to talk about.
and that's my point. The Warriors will be healthy when they play Houston.
Well, only somewhat. They're still down Curry, so they've got one.
No,
They've got one half the
Curry will
special.
be back.
He was out for the first round. They
Yeah,
said he
I
was going to be
know.
out for the first
And-
round. He's
and-
back for the second.
Yeah, and so Curry will be back when they play Houston.
But
If
even
they
then,
do
he's still going to
make
be
a
100%.
pass, if they do make a pass.
He's gonna be 90.
well, okay, hold up. He'll come back. He definitely has said he'll. Yeah, in a recent interview with ESPN, he said he believes he can come back for Game 2, Game 3. So he'll be there if they face the Houston Rockets, because remember, they can't face the Houston Rockets until the conference
yeah.
finals. So Nate, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, we know that Mike D'Antoni is a good offensive coach, but the defense has really stepped up. They're now a solid defensive team, and they can pose a serious threat, in my opinion.
Okay, we'll see. The Rockets are the 1 seed, and they could potentially face off Denver or Minnesota. We'll see. So now let's talk about the NFL draft coming up in 19
yeah.
days to be exact. The Cleveland Browns are 1. We think they're going to pick a quarterback. At least let's hope.
If they don't, they're stupid. I mean, come on.
Come
Come on,
on.
let's listen. They've gone through what 16 quarterbacks in the last 5 years or something crazy like
But I
that.
mean,
17 now. They signed Tyrod Taylor this offseason.
Ooh, they're down. They're gonna be one more. It's like add one.
So my question to you guys is New York. So I think it's fair to say that the draft will really start at 2 because the Giants have a lot of decisions to make. So let me just recap the Giants offseason. So they got a linebacker from the Rams, Alec Ogletree, but then they lost some offensive linemen. They were heavily going after Nate Solder from the Patriots. They got him,
yeah.
and he's a good O-line.
Yeah, he's good.
Odell Beckham's in some trade rumors, but that's sidetracking.
He's
Video posted
If I
online for
remember
Big Street.
correctly, the Giants front office was like, we're not going to trade him. We're probably not going to re-sign him when his contract is up, though.
Okay, so that's another debate for another time. Then they also went out and got some receivers, but then they traded Jason Pierre-Paul, who's their best defensive end.
JPP's gone.
They have some big holes, guys.
Yeah.
And if you look at the prospects, Bradley Chubb, Quentin Nelson, or they could go quarterback, all of those players could be good for them.
Well,
What do you think, Nate?
Oh, well, Eli Manning's getting old. He's not the Eli Manning in
Eli
the
Manning.
ruining the Patriots.
Yeah.
But my mom was so happy.
So, in my opinion, they
Giants
should
fan.
get a quarterback. Now, the Browns have probably taken the best quarterback in the draft, Sam Donald, you know. But Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, and Mason Rudolph are still all there. And in my opinion, Mason Rudolph extremely underrated. Maybe second or third best quarterback in the draft.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think Mason Rudolph is very underrated.
Well, we got 6 quarterbacks. So we got 5 or 6 quarterbacks going early. Josh Allen, Darno, Rosen, Mayfield, and Lamar Jackson. Now, my question is going to be this. If the Giants do want to get a quarterback and Darno's gone, are we going to go Josh Allen or are we going to go Lamar Jackson? Because I don't think the Giants are going to want Baker Mayfield, especially all the antics, which people are like, oh, it's just part of his character. It's
They can't
just,
deal with that right
but
now.
they can't.
with-
I mean, they've got Odell. They got
yeah.
Odell's problems, and you can't just have this on top.
And
of
then
that.
the PED problems of Josh Morrow, the Stanford grad.
Ooh, yeah, you can. Yeah, it's just like
you
if
can't
you
deal
want,
with
if you want to throw something on top of the pile, it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
you cannot have all of
And the
that.
Giants front office, in my opinion, one of the worst in the NFL.
Worse than the NFL, but they still beat the Pats,
Well,
dude.
I mean-
Well, I'm talking as of right now.
yes,
Okay.
I will. Okay, yeah, because Eli's getting old, and they're like
Yeah.
this. Okay, who are we gonna pick? A D linebacker. Why? Well, we don't want a quarterback. Okay, let's do that.
Well, yeah, quarterback, or in my opinion, Bradley Chubb, because Bradley Chubb's just probably the best prospect in the draft.
All right.
It's going to be interesting for sure, but I think every move they make, I think is going to help them.
Yeah.
That team
Yeah.
is a
that
little
team,
depleted
that
right now.
team
Yeah,
needs-
yeah.
Okay.
Can I just talk about one prospect though, really quickly?
Go ahead.
Cortland
We have
Sutton.
30 seconds.
Cortland Sutton, my guy. He's a wide receiver out of SMU, 6'4" and a red zone threat. Tell me that a team like Jacksonville, maybe even the Niners, could use him. a red zone threat in which a good quarterback can throw to him and get some touchdowns.
Okay. Interesting. The draft will be on the 26th. It will be played on like 6 different networks this year because all the deals. Also, we have the last wrangle for you guys. So 20 seconds, Nate, quickly. Let's talk
I am an Australian, and what's going on down under is honestly ashamed. I'm ashamed as an Australian. For those of you who don't know, there's a cricket scandal going on in the mix. Cameron Bancroft rubbed the ball with a yellow object, which supposedly tapped the spin against South Africa on the third day of tests. Captain Steve Smith and David Warner are also involved. All of these guys are getting suspended by the Cricket Association in Australia. Tons of people involved. Cricket Gate, I don't know. It's looking
Cricket Gate? Come on.
it's looking bad.
They need a
in my
better
home
name for
country.
that.
It's looking bad.
Better name for
CJ.
that. Well,
go ahead.
in case for the people who don't know, the NBA is sponsoring an esport league this year. And dude, we're less than a month away from starting. First week of May, and the first major esport league in the U.S. for a specific sport. The MLS has one, but I didn't even know they had it until I was looking it up. It's going to be kind of interesting, but there is some rumors going around that the draft was rigged, and some of the people just, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch, though.
Okay, Kieran.
Baseball season getting underway. The Yankees a bit of a rough start at 5-4 after a win today, but their shortstop is not having a rough start. Didi Gregorius red hot, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 9 runs in the first 9 games, and he's having a red hot start, and he is right now the best player on that Yankees team. He's having a better year than Sanchez, Stanton, and Aaron Judge.
All rise.
So we may have some disagreements, but I guess that's for another show. Okay, so for my last wrangle, I really want to talk about the Raptors. I think this year they were doing so good in March, but right now it seems like they're falling apart. There were some rumors that Kyle Lowry, who's a fellow Wildcat, when he went to the game, the Raptors were annoyed that he went to the game and skipped out on some practices. So there's some problems going on right now, and it is April, and Raptors are known to be one of the worst teams in the playoffs. And they just are known to choke. But all I want to say is that I'm glad that I picked them to be first, because right now I feel very good about my prediction skills.
Better than Stephen A. Smith.
Who's gonna win the finals on your perfect predicting skills?
I'm going to say the Golden State Warriors will pull it out as a Warriors fan, but that's me being fun.
All right.
We'll see. Okay. That marks the end of our show, the Sports Sit Down. This was our 4th show, and we're glad you could join us today. Watch all of our other shows on YouTube, and have a good day. We'll see you next time.